right, my people, we are here once again with the one and only Victor Arzu. So, what's up, Victor? How you doing, man?
All right, man. Over here in Tornabe, relaxing for a few days.
Okay, okay,
You know,
that's
yeah.
good. Yes, man, it's beautiful over here in Tornabe. I love it. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
this is a great place. This is the place, man.
Yep,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah.
All right, man. Hey, so the first question I always start with this. Where was Victor Arzu born?
I was born in Tornabe,
Okay.
Tornabe Tela, departamento de Atlántida,
Okay.
Honduras.
Okay, so when you were born, right, and you were growing up and all of that, how were things here in Tornabe at that time?
Well, it was much different than now.
Mm-hmm.
Different for the fact that we didn't have electricity. You know, we didn't have all these beautiful houses. Everything was like wooden houses and
Mm,
coconut tree leaf houses.
okay.
And it was a totally different environment, but beautiful.
Okay.
Healthy. Spiritual wise. Mental wise. Everything was like more. Everybody was like more together, more like in a family environment, friendly environment.
What were the things that made you happy as a child? You're growing up here in Tornabe and seeing all of the things that you're seeing. What were the things that you used to do as a kid?
The freedom.
Okay.
There was a lot of freedom in a way that the environment was safe. You can walk around, you can play, and then we didn't have all these fancy and expensive toys, but we were able to build our own toys. We were able to play the marbles. El trompo.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the rainy seasons, we'll be, swimming in the swamps. I mean, you have the beach and then you have the lagoon on the other side, and then uh, everything was like beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow, man, that's a different time.
yeah.
All right, so what was the soundtrack of that time? Like, what were the songs that were playing, that you remember?
Well, during that time, let's say, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
in our house, it was more like tropical music, music that came from Cuba, Puerto Rico, and then you had the Motown, records, at home, so that was pretty much it. And then other than that, I had my uncle's band, Conjunto La Playera.
Oh, okay.
They had a band, and then they would go out of town to play in the cities, in the campos, and stuff like that. And they used to play music that was pretty much generated from Cuba. They used to play a lot of boleros, and then they would play the merengues from the Dominican Republic, Luis Calaf, Angel Viloria, you know, uh, that kind of environment. Yeah, and then during the Christmas seasons, then of course, then we had the parranderos, with the fedu, the tambores and all that stuff. And also, as I was growing up, there was here a parranda group,
Mm-hmm.
which consisted of four guitars
Okay.
and a couple of tambores, maracas, and the clave.
Wow.
And that sounded good, sounded excellent. I remember one of the musicians was named Chombo, Desi, and I don't remember the other guys. They were older people now,
Mm-hmm.
and then and that was a great experience. That was a great musical experience. Part of my startup with the music was that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mhm.
4 guitars.
Four guitars.
Wow. Okay.
And at the age of 12, I was starting to learn guitars, and then I knew my regular chords, like the C, D, E, and I knew my regular chords. But then again, watching those guys played, I realized that there were some of the chords that they were playing, and those were dissonant chords,
Oh,
and it
okay.
sounded different from what I already learned.
Ah,
And
okay.
then so that kind of opened up my curiosity and my ear a little more, into learning more music.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So now, right now, you're growing up as a kid. You're 12 years old, and you know how to, you already know your notes on the guitar.
yeah.
And all right, so now what happens when you transition? Because I know you still get to the United States as a young kid. So how old were you when that happened?
I was 14 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, and as soon as I got to New York, well, I started school, and at school I took some more music courses like the guitar, introduction to music, music appreciation, and then also guitars and piano and music theory.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
In
and
New York
then
City.
yeah,
Okay.
during the time I was in junior high school, I was going to guitar school. I went to guitar school for a period of about 6 years.
Okay.
I would do that like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, um, and I was also I started playing with Los Bravos de Honduras.
Okay.
That group. Your father was the director.
Okay.
Tough guy in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
My
demanding.
dad, a tough guy.
Very demanding. Music wise, yeah, very demanding.
Yeah, okay.
You had to do things the right way.
Okay.
So, and then believe it or not, because of that, I had, my interest in learning more music, arose because of all these demands.
Okay.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing that it happened at a young age because that's where you soak up all of
Yeah,
these
the
things.
most. Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
It was easier, to learn things
Okay.
during those days.
It's crazy how it was easier to learn things, but the songs were a
Yeah.
lot complicated.
Oh yeah, much more complicated.
Yeah.
There was nothing easy. There was no de que mama higa bonito. There was none of that. There was none of that stuff.
Yeah.
There was no caracoleo. There was none of that. You really had to, know your craft.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So being in Los Bravos, right? I'm gonna say this because I know you were the youngest there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was 17 years old.
You were 17, and everybody is like 20 plus.
Oh yeah, in 30s.
All right. So how did they treat you? You being young, and you basically being the young one in the group. Like, how did the older guys treat you?
Yeah, some guys will treat me like a kid. Some guys will treat me like, I'm just, another,
Okay.
So became friends. It was like a friendly environment and like a family
Okay.
environment. I was the youngest brother, for most of them, and I was the son,
Okay.
for others like Valentin, Kalin,
Okay.
Julio. I was like their kid,
Okay.
and then Tito was like my elder brother, and then and friends at the same time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I would go to his house and visit him.
Mm-hmm.
We would listen to records. We would listen to like Earth, Wind, and Fire, and stuff like that. VGs,
Okay.
and then serious production, serious music. We was
Yeah.
always listening to some great stuff, great artists. And then later on was like Luther Vandross,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Diana Ross.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I know that was a great time in Los Bravos because
yeah.
just the education musically, you're around older
Yeah.
people, and then y'all not playing songs that's just ABC 1 2 3.
Right. And then believe it or not, that was Los Bravos was a school for me.
Mm.
Not only music wise, but also on the discipline side.
Okay.
In there you had to be very disciplined. Everything was like on time. Everything was like sketched out, all well planned out. Believe it or not, with all this complexity of the music at that era, we go to the studio and then we had to rehearse at least 4 new songs, and then either learn them there or you'll have to learn them at home first.
Okay.
You know,
Before going to the studio
before
to
going to
record.
the studio, you had to do some kind of homework.
Okay.
Learn the songs from home, and then when you get to the studio, it was only pretty much to detail everything.
Okay.
To
Okay.
jam up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then whoever didn't do their job, it was felt, I'm sure.
Right, yeah. Then when you would have to, put that little extra effort. Nobody would yell at you, but you would be asked to do your task.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's dope, man. That beginning of, the beginning of you
Oh yeah.
as a musician.
At an early age,
At an early age,
17 years
bravos.
old. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
17.
By the time I was 19, I was pretty much like a kid with a grown up mentality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. So speaking of that, right? What schools did you attend when you were in the U.S.?
Well, a junior high school, it was Walter Damrish,
Okay.
PS 136,
Okay.
in on Jennings Avenue in the Bronx.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then from there I went to DeWitt Clinton High School.
Oh, Clinton.
Yeah,
Okay.
DeWitt Clinton High School. I graduated from DeWitt Clinton, and then from DeWitt Clinton I went to Five Towns College on Long Island for audio recording technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before college, right? Were you doing anything in high school that you knew that was gonna get you to exactly where you're going once you get to college? Like, were you doing anything
Yeah,
musically?
during my high school era, I got enrolled on this program, which was well, it was a program where it was like an internship.
Okay.
An internship before you actually, went into your career.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they sent me to a recording studio in Manhattan for an internship. That was Latin Sound Recording Studios. Latin Sound Recording Studios was where Celia Cruz recorded, Luis Perico Ortiz, Conjunto Clásico, all these, Latin, big Latin bands and artists. That's where they record. I actually became an assistant engineer at that place at the age of 19.
Wow.
So Roberto Torres is Cuando el amor llega así de esa manera, uno no se da ni cuenta. El caballo, no sé, I don't remember exactly the name of the song, but on his next album, after that previous one, I was the assistant engineer there.
Okay.
Actually, he was the man that convinced me, to go to school and not to stay at the studio working. I was already, gaining a good salary as an assistant engineer. But he says to me, "Oye, chico," in one of the breaks, he says to me, "Oye, chico, ¿y tú piensas quedarte aquí toda la vida?" Because he's Cuban. And then and I said to him, "No, I'm not planning well, I'm planning on going to school. I already applied for 3 different colleges and they already accept me. I just got to make up my mind into which one I'm going to go or if I'm going to go at all." He said, "Si tú no estudias, todo esto en 10 años se va a volver computarizado. Y si tú no estudias, tú te quedas atrás." So I was like, oh man, maybe I should go to school.
Yeah. Okay.
So I went to school. I quit the job and I went to school.
Thanks to that man. What's his name again?
Roberto Torres.
Wow, man. Wow. Yeah. He told you something that made
He's
you
the one. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the man that made me take that particular decision.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. All right. So, was getting into the music world easy once you were already in college and you took all your courses and did your classes and all of that? Was it easy to get into the music world and start working with those popular names?
Well, in the music industry, there's not an easy way of anything. Wow. Everything is a constant battle. Because you can face discrimination.
Yeah.
I did face some kind of discrimination. I was sent to a place for an interview. They probably thought I was white. Because I'm coming from I just graduated from a college on Long Island,
Mm-hmm.
and then they probably thought I was, different than what I am,
Yeah.
and as soon as I get there, yeah, probably, they'll give me some kind of excuse,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're not really, hiring right now.
Wow.
Because you were sent from 5 times college, we had to, interview you by law. We had to interview you,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, some doors will close and then others will open. I remember a few months after graduating from college, I
Mm-hmm.
went to Sam Ash Music for some equipment, and then the manager, which already knew me since I was like 17 years old,
Yeah.
and he says to me, "Listen, would you like to work, for us?" He offered me a job,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, Howard Mendelson, his name is, and then I was, uh, well, yeah, I just graduated from college, and I'm open, to any position within the music field.
Yeah.
So I was hired as a salesman at Sam Ash Music, and to me it was good. It was great because I would keep my learning experience there,
Yeah.
and then I'll get more experience with some new equipment, new gear, recording gear, sound reinforcement gear. Because I went to school for audio recording, which is different than live sound reinforcement.
Correct.
Kind of similar, but there's differences to it.
Mm-hmm.
So in there, I was able to practice that. I was able to learn more about new microphones, consoles, and more recording equipment. Like every month, there will be something new.
Yeah.
You know, uh, if you're a recording engineer and then you're working at a couple of recording studios as a freelance, you'll be familiar with the equipment, that you're exposed to, or something else that the owner of the studio, might purchase.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're blind to everything else.
Wow.
So at Sam Ash, I was able to, keep that experience
Yeah.
going.
Man, that's a big advantage because working as a salesman, I can imagine you already knew how certain things work. Even if it wasn't going to work for you, you would know
Yeah.
what to recommend and how to recommend it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have a much better
Mhm.
learning potentials,
Okay.
and and not only that, it's also the people that you get to know. You get to know a lot of different people and work with different people. While I was at Sam Ash in Queens, I worked for an Italian band for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
a successful Italian band. It was like a wedding band and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
these guys were buying houses, they were buying cars, they were sending their kids to school, to college, expensive colleges,
Mm-hmm.
all through being a wedding band.
Wow. Okay.
Because for them it was a profession, and they will work on that, week by week.
Mm-hmm.
I learned from that too. I learned that you don't necessarily have to be a star,
Yeah.
to make a decent living. And I was able to make a decent living, from not being a star at all, but being a professional in the music business.
Mm-hmm. Wow. This was an Italian group.
That was an Italian group, and then I
Okay.
also worked with some Haitian groups.
Okay.
I worked with groups from different cultures, from Israel.
Okay.
I had a couple of clients from Israel that I designed their studios, their recording studios for them.
Oh wow.
And then later, we became friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, so now you're in college and you're going to college for recording for audio. So what was the first song that you recorded?
The first song I ever recorded was Sombras de un Ayer y Señora.
Yeah?
Yeah, those are
Okay.
the first two songs. Willow Bravos.
On the Bravos. Okay.
Yeah, at the age of 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are the first two songs I composed
Okay.
and then arranged.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when we went to the studio, I just like started, handing everybody else their parts. So I say, I want the song to start like this. Then you come in. Then you come in. Then you do this. Then you do that.
At 17?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. You was
Oh,
acting
yeah.
like Prince then.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
because that's how Prince used to do.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, when you write a song and you create your own ideas,
Mm-hmm.
then you want your ideas, to be performed or to come out as you imagine them.
Yeah.
It's part of a self satisfaction also.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Because in music, there is the self satisfaction part. Because you feel good about what you're doing and what you're accomplishing. And
Yeah.
but there's also another part that you have to also feel good about the fact that you're putting something into your pocket.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
So you said the songs were Sombra de un Ayer and Señora.
Senora.
Okay.
Senora was the title that the audience, gave the song.
Okay.
But the title of the song was Un sueño que desee vivir.
Oh, okay.
But because, the song was, Senora. So everybody was like, Senora, cantame, Senora, Senora, Senora.
Okay.
So I wound up calling it Senora also. I broke my own rules.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell us about the inspiration behind those lyrics, because those are national anthems in the slow jam world for Garifunas and anybody else that listens to it.
Sombras de una Ayer, I wrote it during the summer in New York because I was dating this girl,
Mm-hmm.
One day we went to a park. We was taking a walk and everything, and out of a sudden, I saw this sad face, and then I was like, what's going on? What's wrong? Something. I said, listen, I'm sorry, but we have to break up. So I went home and I started to write.
Oh wow.
I grabbed the guitar and then and the ideas just started to flow.
Oh wow.
And then with Senora, I was dating another girl, and the mother didn't quite agree with the fact that her daughter would be dating a musician.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that was even happening back then.
Yeah,
Wow.
that has been happening since day one.
Since day one.
In our culture, if you're a musician and then if you're a soccer player,
Mm-hmm.
you're a loser. That's just the fact of our culture mentality.
Yeah.
And then so after that happened, I went back home, grabbed the guitar, and I started to write. And let me tell you something, Senora is like the most complex lyrics that I've ever written.
Yeah.
And then because almost it's almost every verse is different from the other. It's like a storytelling song.
Okay. Yeah.
And I wrote that song like in less than 20 minutes. Ideas just started to flow. You know how it is, like when you compose a song, you always have to come back and modify something. If I did modify maybe like 3 lines, that's all it was.
Okay.
Everything else was. And then the thing that helped me out, during that composition, is that at school I was already learning about, the basic composition rules. Which would consist of you having a main idea, introducing it, developing it, and then concluding it. So I kind of followed those steps, and that made it a lot easier. So
Okay.
those are pretty much the first 2 songs that I wrote, and after that, I just started to write more.
Wow. Okay.
And I recorded those with Los Bravos de Honduras, and luckily,
Mhm.
it was accepted by the audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then still nowadays it's still accepted with like
Yeah.
3 different versions that I've ever recorded
Oh wow.
of it.
No, my dad always talks about the process of recording the Los Bravos LP.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tells me about how y'all were on the bus going to the studio, and y'all in the and y'all
Yeah.
writing songs on the bus because y'all
Yeah.
about to get to the studio and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a different time.
Oh yeah. You know,
Yeah.
and then you had to go back to the studio sometimes to correct things. You know, it was nice that you was able to go back and correct. You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Okay.
It was
Wow.
nice. It was a very nice environment. And then during the time, in the process of preparing the recording, you know, we used to play the songs without the vocals, without the
Okay.
lead singer.
Okay.
In other words, you had to have the thing like, pretty much memorized, before you actually go to the studio. So we would rehearse the songs without the lead singer.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
from top to bottom.
Mm.
Mm.
Man.